So we have been studying the fall of man since last week. We are still in the section 1 of the fall of man. So far, section 1 is the root of sin. That's the title of the section 1. So far, we covered this much. So we studied about the story of the Garden of Eden, and now we know that the story has a lot of symbolism, and the fruit that Eve ate and Adam also ate. The fruit is the symbol of something. So we are trying to find out what that is, right? So in the process of that, we found that the tree of life is symbolizing perfected Adam, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil is symbolizing perfected Eve. You know, those two trees are in the middle of the Garden of Eden. And the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that is their one, Adam and Eve ate by, Satan's temptation. Actually, serpent's temptation. That serpent is the Archangel Lucifer. We found out that, all these is pretty clear when we read the Bible carefully, right? The serpent in the Garden of Eden is the actually Archangel Lucifer. So he is the one who tempted Eve, and then Eve ate the fruit, which was the fruit that Eve was not supposed to eat. Then this Archangel Lucifer became Satan, or devil, right? So that is the things that we found out so far. So today we are going to look at this. What was the crime of the angel? So the serpent was an angel, right? Serpent is the Archangel Lucifer, and so he came to Eve and tempted. Then of course we know that Eve ate the fruit, but that is then what was actually what was wrong? What kind of crime the serpent committed, right? So we know that the serpent did something wrong. So then when we read the 2 Peter 2:4, we already read this one last week. It says, "For if God did not spare the angels when they sinned," right? So it says very clearly, angels sin. So Lucifer, Archangel Lucifer, he's the head of the angels. So he sinned. So he did something wrong. So that's why he was cast out of the heaven. All right, so then let's read this one, Jude 6:7. Jude, this person said very clearly what was the angel's crime. Well, what kind of sin angels made, right? So it says like this: "And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own habitation," right? So that's what they did. So they did not keep their proper domain. They left their own habitation. So he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. Just as Sodom and Gomorrah and cities around them, in a similar manner to these, having given themselves over to sexual immorality and gone after strange flesh are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. So according to this, then it says pretty clear, right? It's pretty clear that the angels, what they did, what angels did was the sexual immorality and strange flesh, just like people in the Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So this is the conclusion. Crime of the angel was illicit sexual relationship. Then what about the man? What about the human beings? The crime of the human beings. When we read the Genesis 2:25, before the Adam and Eve ate the fruit, it says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So Adam and Eve were naked, but they were not ashamed. However, after they ate the fruit, Genesis 3:6-7, then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. So after they ate the fruit, they felt ashamed. They found out what now they knew they were naked, and they were ashamed of it, and they made the coverings. They covered the lower part. You know, why is that? Why they covered their lower part? Yeah. They were ashamed. Of course, you know, that they were ashamed. They found that they were naked. The point is, yeah, you know, it's a common sense, you know, where do you when you find out you are naked, where you gonna cover, right? You cover their lower part. Okay, after they ate the fruit, you know, according to the Bible, they covered their lower part. You know, why they have to cover the lower part? Right? They must have done something wrong with their lower part. Yeah, Job 31:33. So Job said, this famous man, yeah, Job. So he said like this, if I have covered my transgression as Adam, right, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom. So Job said, right, Adam covered his transgression. So Adam covered his sin, right? So where did he cover? So he covered his sexual part, lower part. So, you know, that what is that? So he is covering, you know, somewhere that he did wrong with. Yeah. So according to this, we can conclude that the crime of Adam and Eve was committed by their sexual parts. So let's, okay, so therefore divine principle said like this. This is a conclusion. Thus far, we have explained that angels seduced human beings to fall, and that both the angel and the human beings fell due to illicit sexual love. Yeah. So human beings and the angel are the only spiritual beings in the universe who are capable of having love relationships. Yeah. So the crime of the angel was a sexual immorality. Then the crime of the Adam and Eve was also committed by their sexual part, means a sexual sin, right? So then only the human beings and angels are just the beings in the universe who are capable of having a love relationship. I mean, sexual relationship. They are capable of it, you know. So we can deduce that the illicit sexual relationship must have involved the angel and the human being. So divine, you know, DP said clearly, so human beings and angels are the only spiritual beings in the universe who are capable of having love relationship, right? So now probably after we study the chapter 1, principle of creation, and we studied about the spiritual world, and even though we did not study about angels yet so clearly, we may do that a little bit next week. But angel is the spiritual being in the spirit world. And just as we have the spiritual body, and spiritual body or spiritual self is a real substantial existence. Even that is a spiritual, but that is substantial, and that is our spiritual self is in the spirit world. And the angel, as the spiritual being, the angels are living in the spiritual world, and they have also their body. That's not the physical, like our physical body, but their spiritual body is just like the human spiritual self, human spirit self, right? That is substantial. Just like human spirit self has everything, like the physical body. They have eyes and they have a face, same kind of shape. Everything is very similar, same as a physical body, physical self, including the sexual part. Okay, so therefore, the human beings and the spirit, human beings and angels, they were able to have the sexual relationship. So, okay, maybe we may talk about this next week, but that is their conclusion. Yeah. So the fall of the angel and the fall of human beings, that happened. That is the illicit sexual relationship. Yeah. Angel, actually, the archangel Lucifer and the Eve had the illicit sexual relationship. That happened. That is the crime of the angel and Eve, and also Adam too. So when we read the Bible, Eve gave the fruit to Adam, then Adam ate it. So then both of them are kicked out from the Garden of Eden, right? So Adam and Eve and the Archangel Lucifer. So what they did was illicit sexual relationship. Okay, so then what is the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in this case? So now we understand, a lot of the meaning of the symbolic story of the Garden of Eden. So the fruit symbolizes the love of Eve. So the fruit signifies the love of Eve. As a tree multiplies through the fruit, right? The trees multiply through the fruit, and a human being multiply through the love relationship. So that's how the fruit of the tree symbolizes the love of Eve. So Eve was supposed to multiply their good children. However, because of the fall of man, and Eve multiplied the evil descendants. So that is Eve, as a woman, so she can bear the children. That's why the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which symbolizing Eve, then the fruit of the tree is the love of Eve. So Eve is the one who can multiply children through love relationship. Okay, so that's why the fruit symbolizes the love of Eve. Okay, what is this one? Okay, then what is the meaning of what's going on? Eating. What is the meaning of the eating? By eating the fruit, eating the love of Eve means blood ties, making a blood ties. Yeah. So that's the meaning of the eating. So we can't read this part. Okay, but these are some example from their Bible. Kind of the eating the fruit. This like the eating fruit. This expression is used when when you want to describe some kind of love relationship or sexual relationship, right? So then that is lots of things like that in the Song of Songs. Yeah, this is one of the example. As an apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among young men. With great delight, I sat in his shadow, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. Right? So, eating that fruit is a sweet. They're saying like this, but, they're talking about their love relationship. You are stately as a palm tree, and your breasts are like its clusters, fruit. I say, I will climb the palm tree and lay hold of its branches. Oh, may your breast be like clusters of the vine, and the saint of your breath, please, breast, like apples. So, like this, yeah. That eating fruit is nice. That's expressing some kind of love action. Love act is, sweet and nice, like eating the sweet fruit or, like sweet apples, right? So this is a way of adulteress. She eats, she wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. So eating is like, having the sexual relations. This kind of expression is common, not only in the Bible, but in the regular or society in America, I guess, and obviously in Japan, we use this expression, eat. Eating means, of course, like eating means eating food, but when you describe the having a sexual relationship, you use the word eating, right? Then especially that is like eating the delicious fruit. So that's kind of, it's common in the world, in this world. Okay, so like that, the fruit symbolizing the love of Eve, and eating the fruit means that the eating the fruit means having the sexual relationship, so that the love becomes the fresh. Love becomes another substantial being. So when you eat things, right, that becomes your blood and flesh. So the Eve's love becomes substantial result, which is their children. So that's how the Bible, in the story of the Garden of Eden, their sexual action was symbolized by the eating the fruit. So therefore, we have a conclusion. Then what was the root of sin? So root of sin means that the beginning of their sin, or root of the all other sins. So we have a sinful world, right? Right now, very sinful. Then what is the root of it? What is the origin of all sin, right? That's the root of sin. And what is that? Now when we understand this story of the Garden of Eden, right? The root of sin is that the first human beings have the illicit sexual relationship. First human ancestors had illicit sexual relationship with angel, Archangel Lucifer, actually. That is their root of sin. So that's happened. Therefore, everything went wrong, right? That's what the Garden of Eden, story of the Garden of Eden is telling us. So eating the literal fruit, some kind of like some fruit of the real tree, eating the fruit, eating that kind of fruit like apple or orange, something like that, not like that. That doesn't affect the entire human beings. But this one, this illicit sexual relationship, that's, that was the root of sin. Therefore, because of this, Adam and Eve's relationship with God was cut off. And because this is the blood ties with Archangel Lucifer, who became the Satan or devil later, right? After the fall of man, and then Archangel Lucifer was called Satan or devil. So that the blood relationship, blood ties with the Satan happen here. Therefore, we all are affected by that as the descendants of Adam and Eve. Yeah. So the root of sin is this one: illicit, first human beings, illicit blood relationship, illicit sexual relationship with Archangel Lucifer. Okay. What's going on? Same thing here. All right. So so therefore, this kind of things emerged or came up as the result of the root of sin. It's kind of evidence, that therefore we can say that root of sin was the illicit sexual relationship. So number one, because the original or like the beginning of the simple history or was this. Therefore, strange expression. Because of the root of sin was the illicit sexual relationship, therefore we have something called original sin. And that original sin was inherited generation to generation from Adam and Eve. From Adam and Eve, who was the ancestors of all human beings. From them, generation to generation, everybody inherited the sin that they made. That is called the original sin. So why that kind of thing happened? Even though we did not do anything, but when we were born, we already had some kind of sin, right? So that is called the original sin. Then we are going to study about the original sin later, more clearly or in depth, right? But so that the reason why we have such sin that we inherited generation to generation was that the root of sin was the blood ties with Satan. Okay, so Romans 5:17. Therefore, it says like this: for if by the one man's offense death reigned, that one man, Adam, because one man, Adam, and the death reigned through the one, much more those who receive abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness will reign in life through the one Jesus Christ. Yeah. So one man, because of one man, then the death reigned through that person and to the people, then likewise through the one man, then we all can receive the grace. Yeah, like that. Because of one man, then the death reigned. So because of only one man, why? Because of the only one man, everybody is affected. Yeah, because that was the blood ties with the Satan. Then we are all the descendants of Adam and Eve. Yeah. So that's why, right? So 1 Corinthians 15:22. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ all shall be made alive. The same thing. So because of there only one man, Adam, because of the one man, Adam, all die. Yeah. So this is the story of the original sin. Number 2, blood relationship with Satan. So root of sin was the blood relationship with the archangel Lucifer, Satan, right? Therefore, Jesus said like this, you are of your father, the devil. So if we read the Bible verses here, Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Nor have I come of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Because you are not able to listen to my word. You are of your father, the devil, and the desire of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his. So that, like this, Jesus said, you are of your father, the devil. Why? Because that in the beginning, so our ancestors had the blood relationship. They had the blood sexual relationship with Satan. Then Satan became our father. Like children inherit their father's character or nature or, as a blood, right? So we inherited the devil's character, nature, because of this blood ties with him. That's why the Jesus said like this, our father is the devil. Same kind of place, same content. Brood of vipers. That's what, okay. This is Matthew 3:7. This is the John the Baptist. John the Baptist said to us, brood of vipers, who warn you to flee from the wrath to come. Matthew 23:33. This is Jesus. Jesus said, serpent, brood of vipers, right? So same thing, the root of the Satan, right? Vipers, serpent, that is the Satan and the devil. We are the descendants or children of the serpent, vipers. Well, that means the children of Satan or devil, right? So why they said that? Because our ancestors had blood ties with the devil, Satan. Okay. So therefore, fornication, adultery, right, became, or not became. So in the Bible or in the teaching of the Christianity or Judaism, the fornication or adultery, these sins are one of their greatest sin, cardinal sin. So they made something that they consider this kind of thing very special. Okay, so for example, the Proverbs 6:32, it said, whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. He who does so defiles his own soul. Probably, actually I cannot read. So that's, the point is this, maybe this another one might be more clear. So 1 Corinthians 6:18-20. Free sexual immorality. Even every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body. So in this proverb, it says that no, you hurt your own soul, right? You hurt your own soul. He hurts, he defies, or so he hurts his own soul. Yeah, but basically the same thing. This First Corinthians says that this sin against his own body. Then, or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own? For you are bought at the price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. So, like basically saying is when you commit the sexual sin or adultery or fornication, right? That's, you are not like hurting others, not only hurting others. The act itself is hurting you, your body, which is the temple of God. So that the body that you got originally, that which is God's, then so you are destroying your own body. You are destroying your own, destroying your own soul or spirit. So that's like that you are hurting yourself. That's that means that's like making a damage. Spiritual damage, like that. You are not just hurting others, or you are not just doing something to others. Then, so the other, it said, the man does, sin that a man does is outside the body. So like to others, right? Then you may hurt other people, which is not so good. I know stealing, not so good, then all kinds of course, like there are lots of different kinds of sins there. But the unique unique things about the sexual sin is when you commit the fornication, you are not doing something bad to others. Not only that, you are hurting yourself. You are damaging yourself. That's why that sin is that sin has, that kind of sexual sin has some kind of meaning there, like a serious meaning. So therefore sometimes like you may say, if we do not really understand this, the seriousness of immoral sexual action, okay, then you may say, okay, we have an agreement with the woman or man. So, then both agree to have sex freely. Okay, my wife, my husband, or like, we basically agree, we don't care, then having the relationship, then what's wrong with it? Yeah? That's but so like having the sex is hurting God's heart, because this is the origin of all the sins, right? So then that's hurting God. Then also that's your spirit, your original mind, your spirit self knows how bad that is. Therefore, that if you keep doing it, then so your spirit is getting so hard a lot. You don't realize it. Just you are separating from God. Your spirit becoming a darker and darker and heavy. Can't grow, and that you had lots of damage in your spirit. So that's a kind of like a uniqueness of the sexual immorality, sexual sin. Then that is hurting God so much, because that when we are acting that, right, when we are acting the sin, then that gives so much pain to God, because we don't know how, we don't know much about the Adam and the Eve situation at the time, but I'm sure they are really innocent God's children. Then they are not evil, right? But once they did not follow God's commandment, do not eat the fruit, they ate the fruit with the Lucifer, while Adam and Eve, they ate the fruit each other. So that is the beginning of all the sinful world, right? That's how the Adam and Eve was separated from God, right? That is the reason why Adam and Eve was separated from God. That's how God lost Adam and Eve, right? That the action was illicit sexual relationship. The action was the not really adultery, but illicit sexual relationship, right? That is the one that, because of that, then God lost his children almost forever up until today. Yeah. So when God see that kind of like a sexual immoral action, right, that is very difficult for God, because that is the root of sin. Yeah. So anyway, so I also don't know how much we hurt God, and also we don't know how much we hurt ourselves. Original self, original spirit self. We are making a lot of damage to that when we commit this kind of sin. So therefore, like a spiritualist, many spiritualists, when they go to their hell, then the most miserable, dark, incredibly horrible place in the hell was the hell of the sexual immorality. The hell people goes when they commit the very not good, that's fornication, committing fornication a lot of times, or like the completely free sex life, having the sexual relationship with men and the women both. Well, all those kind of like possessed by a sex, that kind of people. So they destroy their spirit completely. That's why they had to suffer a lot in hell, in the spirit world, right? So anyway, so that's basically the Bible is telling like that. Even though I don't know how much the Bible writers know about the spiritual reality, but somehow this is God's word. God is speaking through them. Okay. Anyway, so another thing is because root of sin was the illicit sexual relationship. Therefore, the people in the Old Testament age, they did the circumcision. So, okay, we read Genesis 17:10. Yeah, this is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you, right? The circumcision becomes the sign, that is the sign of the covenant between me and you. Why? Why when you cut your foreskins, so then why that's become the sign of the covenant between God and me, God and the people, right? So because that is the place where our ancestors left God, broke the relationship with God. So that this cutting the foreskins, and the shed the blood is some symbolical indemnity condition that we repented about the root of sin. So then that becomes the covenant between God and you, right? So that's kind of like a symbolical meaning there, the circumcision. Then another one. So in the New Testament age, the Christians emphasized or put a lot of emphasis on the celibacy. Basically, you know, that from a principle viewpoint, that is too much, too extreme, and that is not so healthy. However, when we are fighting against Satan, you know, so we had, you know, because we've been fighting against Satan, such Satan who made us fall through the sexual immorality, you know, through the illicit sexual relationship, right? You know, Satan made us leave God through the immoral or illicit sexual relationship. That's why when we fight against Satan, when we try to separate Satan, then we have been emphasizing, you know, how to separate the immoral or illicit sexual relationship. So then that became a little bit extreme like this in the New Testament age. You know, you have to cut those kind of things, you know, cut off everything if you want to come back God, right? So the First Corinthians said like this: nevertheless, if you stand steadfast in his heart, having no necessity, but has power over his own will, and has so determined in his heart that he will keep his virgin as well. So then he who gives her in marriage does well, but he who does not give her in marriage does better. You know, so if you could hold it, keep, you know, your your virginity, you know, that's, you know, that they value, you know, in the Corinthians, Saint Paul valued it. Okay, you can get married, you know, then if you get married, so you have, of course, as a wife and husband, you can have a sexual relationship. That is okay, right? It's well. However, if you could keep yourself separating from any kind of sexual action, and then, you know, then kept the celibacy, then that is better, right? That's what they are saying. You know, that's some kind of like an indemnity cost, right? Why they have to say that, you know? That's almost against the human nature, you know, but because that is the indemnity cost that we had to go through, you know. Why that is the indemnity cost? Why we had to go through that kind of indemnity cost? You know? So because the root of sin was the illicit sexual relationship. Okay, another one, the Matthew 19, for there are eunuchs who were born thus from their mother's womb. Oh, I don't know if this kind of person is. There are eunuchs who were made eunuchs by men. And there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He who is able to accept it, let him accept it, right? So, you know, if you can do that, or if somebody can accept it, you know, being the single, right, man, then the eunuchs, those are, you know, basically the cut off their part, then they can't have the sex anymore. You know, that kind of person. If you accept it, if you can live that kind of life for the kingdom of heaven, you know, then let him accept it. So that's, you know, like that is better, right? That's what they're saying. So, you know, like this, then why this kind of things? Why the Christian, especially early age of Christians, lots of church fathers, you know, they struggled a lot, but they made a determination to go through this kind of life of celibacy. You know, Catholic priest, no marriage, you know, the nun, no marriage. You know, why they have to go through that? The ultimate or fundamental reason was this one, the root of sin was illicit sexual relationship. That was the beginning of all the sins. Therefore, we have been fighting against the sexual relationship, and that becomes the big part of our indemnity life when we want to come back to God. Yeah. So of course, like now we have a different age, that we have to really, this is a time that we should establish the God-centered family. Therefore, our movement never ever emphasize celibacy. We encourage to marry because that is God's idea. Family is a God's idea, right? So going through this kind of indemnity history, and we are living in a different age now. So this is the age that we should realize God's idea, But up until today, there are lots of difficult indemnity costs. We have to go through that kind of indemnity cost to separate Satan. All right. Then the final one is the degradation of sexual morality. So we can see that right now, right, in the society, campus, Christian churches, everywhere, because this is the beginning of the sinful world. Therefore, when we are in the last days, last days, we see the most fundamental issues of sins, in the last days. Beginning was with the sexual immorality. Now, in the last days, we see the same kind of phenomena. This is the last battle with Satan, historical speaking. Then we can see that today is the last days. When we studied about the last days and human history, providential human history, we can see that this is the last days. Then because we are living in the last days, we can see the incredible degradation of sexual morality, because this is the most fundamental issue that we have in the sinful world. All right. So I think this is the conclusion of the section 1. And so we are going to study the process and the motivation next week.